Macedonia, 343 BC. A 13-year-old prince rides through mountain passes. His name is Alexander.
In playing. His father, King Philip, has summoned the greatest mind in Greece. A philosopher, a scientist, a teacher.
Aristotle, student of Plato, master of logic, ethics, and natural philosophy, the most brilliant thinker alive.
Philip wants his son to become more than a warrior. He wants Alexander to think like a Greek, not just fight like a Macedonian. For Aristotle, it's a dangerous assignment. Macedonia is far from Athens, but the chance to shape a future king, to plant philosophy in the mind of power. Could reason conquer through conquest?
They meet in Mieza, a quiet sanctuary surrounded by gardens. Teacher and student, philosopher and prince. Alexander arrives restless, ambitious, barely able to sit still. His mind races. His body demands action. Aristotle sees potential, intelligence, curiosity beneath the aggression, a mind that could reshape the world if properly guided.
For 3 years, from age 13 to 16, Alexander becomes Aristotle's only student. An education unlike any other begins.
But this is not just philosophy. Aristotle teaches medicine, biology, ethics, politics. He gives Alexander a personal copy of Homer's Iliad, annotated by Aristotle himself.
Alexander sleeps with the Iliad under his pillow, dreams of Troy, of glory, of immortal fame.
But Aristotle warns, Achilles died young. Glory has a price. Think before you conquer. Question before you kill.
The lessons take root. Slowly, the barbarian prince begins to think like a philosopher.
He dissects animals to show Alexander how bodies work. Life and death, structure and function. Everything has a purpose. Aristotle teaches that knowledge is power. Not just military strength, but understanding nature, people, and systems.
Alexander learns to observe, to question, to analyze. Skills that will make him a strategic genius on the battlefield.
But Aristotle's most important lesson is about different peoples. Greeks, Persians, Egyptians, each has wisdom.
This shocks Alexander. Aristotle, a Greek, suggesting barbarians might be worth understanding? It plants a radical seed.
But Alexander is not moderate. He is extreme, passionate. Aristotle tries to channel fire, not extinguish it.
On politics, Aristotle is clear. A good ruler must balance justice with strength, law with mercy, fear with love. Alexander absorbs everything, but he questions everything too.
Aristotle believes in city-states, small, manageable Greek. Alexander dreams bigger, an empire spanning continents.
The teacher wants his student to preserve Greek purity. The student wants to blend all peoples into something new.
But the bond is deep. Aristotle sees Alexander not as a son, but as something rarer, a mind capable of changing history.
Alexander keeps a chest of books Aristotle gave him. Geography, medicine, strategy. He will carry them across Asia.
Aristotle returns to Athens to open his own school. Teacher and student will never meet again, but the influence endures.
336 BC. Philip is assassinated. At Twente, Alexander becomes king.
He chooses violence. Thebes is destroyed. 30,000 enslaved. Aristotle's lessons about moderation seem forgotten.
Alexander's first test. Greek city-states rebel. Thebes rises against him. Will the philosopher king show mercy or Macedonian brutality?
But Alexander spares one house, the home of the poet Pindar. Culture must be preserved, even in conquest. Aristotle's influence. Destroy the city, but save the poet. Conquer with one hand, preserve with the other.
334 BC. Alexander crosses into Asia with 35,000 men. His goat over...
In his baggage train, philosophers, scientists, historians. Aristotle taught him conquest should advance knowledge, not just territory.
After each battle, Alexander sends specimens back to Aristotle. Plants, animals, data. The conquest becomes a research expedition.
At the Granicus River, Alexander charges first. Aristotle taught courage, but this is recklessness. Philosophy meets reality.
He defeats the Persians at Issus, then makes a choice that would have shocked Aristotle. He spares the Persian royal family.
More than mercy. Respect. Alexander treats them as equals, not barbarians. Aristotle's lesson about understanding other peoples takes root.
In Egypt, he's crowned pharaoh, but he doesn't just conquer. He studies, visits temples, questions priests, learns.
He founds Alexandria, a city designed to be a center of learning, not just power. The famous library will come later, but Alexander's vision is clear. Cities should enlighten, not just dominate.
103-331 BC. At Gaugamela, Alexander faces Darius and 1 million Persians.
He doesn't overwhelm with numbers. He analyzes, adapts, outthinks. The philosopher general defeats the empire. Persia falls. Alexander is now king of Asia, 25 years old, master of the known world.
But something changes. The student begins to reject the teacher. Aristotle believed Greek superior. Alexander thinks differently.
He marries Roxana, a Persian princess, wears Persian clothes, adopts Persian customs.
Alexander's vision, a fusion empire, Greek and Persian, Macedonian and Egyptian, East and West united through culture and marriage.
He orders mass marriages. 10,000 Macedonians wed Persian women. Forced integration. Philosophy becomes policy.
His soldiers hate it. His generals rebel. They signed up for conquest, not cultural revolution.
Alexander doesn't care. He believes in something beyond Greece, a cosmopolitan world, brotherhood of man, universal empire. Aristotle never taught this. In fact, Aristotle believed barbarians were naturally inferior, meant to be ruled, not partnered.
The teacher and student now stand opposed. Aristotle's nephew, Callisthenes, travels with Alexander. He becomes the voice of criticism.
Alexander demands prostration, Persian custom. Callisthenes refuses. Greeks bow to no man. The break is complete. Callisthenes is arrested, tortured, executed. Alexander has killed Aristotle's blood. The student has destroyed the teacher's legacy. Back in Athens, Aristotle hears the news. His nephew dead. His student transformed into something he no longer recognizes.
Does Aristotle regret teaching Alexander? Did philosophy create a monster or a visionary? The teacher cannot answer.
Alexander pushes into India, defeats King Porus, but his army refuses to go further. For the first time, Alexander yields. The philosopher who taught moderation is finally heard. But it's too late.
323 BC. Babylon. Alexander falls ill.
His generals gather. Who inherits the empire?
The strongest.
Aristotle's lessons forgotten. Within hours of his death, the empire fractures. 50 years of war.
Aristotle survives Alexander by 1 year. He dies in 322 BC, aged 62.
Cities, 20 Alexandrias across 3 continents, centers of Greek culture, science, and learning in foreign lands.
The Library of Alexandria, built by Alexander's successor. Hundreds of thousands of scrolls, knowledge preserved and shared.
Aristotle teaches ethics, the golden mean, moderation, courage without recklessness, confidence without arrogance.
Alexander's policy of cultural fusion created a cosmopolitan world. Buddhism meets Greek sculpture. Persian wisdom meets Greek philosophy.
This synthesis would shape Rome, influence Christianity, and lay foundations for Western civilization.
But the question remains, did Aristotle create Alexander's greatness? Or did Alexander succeed by rejecting his teacher?
The teacher wanted preservation of Greek culture. The student wanted fusion. Aristotle dreamed of the...
In the end, Alexander's vision proved more powerful. Not purity, but mixture. Not isolation, but connection. Every great teacher risks this. You give students knowledge, hoping they'll follow your path. Sometimes they build a different road entirely. Aristotle taught Alexander to think, and that was enough. The greatest gift a teacher can give, even if the student surpasses the master.